Hi, I'm Bakhtiar Sanov and you're watching A News. Let's see the headlines. Preliminary investigation confirms Russian missile over Grozny caused Azerbaijani airline plane crash near Aktau. Russia might use a Reshnik hypersonic ballistic missile system again, Vladimir Putin warns. Violence erupts in Syria as Assad loyalists kill 14 security personnel in an ambush in the west of the country. A News has learned exclusive information from government sources concerning the causes of the crash of Azerbaijani aircraft in Aktau, Kazakhstan, which resulted in death of 38 people.
The preliminary results of the investigation revealed that an Azerbaijani Airlines plane traveling on the Baku-Grozny route was attacked on its approach to the city of Grozny by the Russian Pantsir S air defense system. Moreover, as a result of the use of electronic warfare systems by the Russian side, the communication system of the Azerbaijani aircraft was completely paralyzed. It was with this circumstance that the plane disappeared from radars in the Russian airspace and was restored only in the area of the Caspian Sea. It should be noted that according to Russian sources, at the time of the flight over the territory of Chechnya, Russian air defense forces tried to shoot down Ukrainian UAVs. Thus, the head of the Security Council of the Chechen Republic, Kamzat Kadyrov, confirmed the fact of a drone attack on Grozny on the morning of December 25th, noting that there were no casualties or damage. In such a case, the Russian side was obliged to close its airspace to civilian aircraft, which, however, was not done. As is known, the airport in Grozny did not give permission for the plane to land. Moreover, our flight was also not given permission to land at the airports in Makhachkala and Mineralny Vody. The disoriented crew of the flight, which was subjected to air defense fire and electronic warfare systems, was recommended to land in the Kazakh city of Aktau. Presumably, this recommendation was given for one purpose: for the plane to fall into the Caspian Sea. All witnesses would be killed, and the plane would sink. The alternative versions that are being circulated in the Russian media are purposeful innuendo to mislead public opinion. Video footage from the cabin of the plane shows that 2 passengers were injured by shrapnel. All testimonies, including those concerning explosions heard overboard, point to the work of air defenses. For the Azerbaijani side, the situation is absolutely obvious. No one claims that it was done purposefully. However, taking into account the established facts, Baku expects the Russian side to confess to the shooting down of the Azerbaijani aircraft and to conduct a full investigation, which will result in bringing to justice all those responsible.
Moments ago, we received update on this situation. Azerbaijan State Civil Aviation Agency cancels flights to several Russian cities, including Mineralny Vody, Sochi, Volgograd, Ufa, Samara, Grozny and Makhachkala. The decision has been made taking into account the preliminary results of the investigation into the crash of the Embraer 190 aircraft of Azerbaijan Airlines flight J28243 Baku-Grozny due to physical and technical external interference and the risks that may arise in flight safety. Also earlier, Azerbaijan Airlines informed that the captain of Azerbaijan Airlines flight J28717 operating en route Baku-Mineralny Vody made a decision to return to the airport without leaving Baku airspace immediately after takeoff and receiving a notice to airmen about the closure of the airspace over Makhachkala. 14 Azerbaijani citizens, including 1 child injured in the crash of an Azerbaijan airplane in Kazakhstan, were transported from Aktau to Baku on 2 planes, along with the bodies of the deceased passengers. The passengers in critical condition were delivered by an amphibian aircraft of the Ministry of Emergency Situations. 7 of the injured passengers were hospitalized immediately upon landing. Azerbaijan Airlines will pay compensation to each injured passenger and to the families of those who died in the crash. All passengers will also receive insurance payments in accordance with Azerbaijani law and international standards. The Minister of Health of Azerbaijan, Temur Musayev, has provided an important update on the condition of those injured in the recent plane crash. The minister addressed concerns over potential shrapnel wounds and confirmed the status of 3 individuals still receiving treatment in Kazakhstan.
Following a directive from President Ilham Aliyev and under the supervision of First Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva, a large-scale medical team was immediately dispatched to Kazakhstan to assist Azerbaijani citizens and other victims injured in the recent plane crash. The team has now returned to Baku. 14 injured Azerbaijani citizens were transported back to Azerbaijan yesterday from Kazakhstan and admitted to the Yeni Clinical Medical Facility in Baku. According to initial examinations, their conditions are stable and satisfactory. Most of the victims are expected to be discharged and return home in the coming days. 3 Azerbaijani citizens remain under treatment in Kazakhstan with their conditions assessed as moderately severe. The Ministry of Health remains in constant communication with its counterparts in Kazakhstan to ensure the situation remains under control. To further support ongoing medical care and monitor treatment in Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan will send a team of doctors and nurses to the site. This initiative aims to fully oversee and coordinate the medical processes on the way.
The deadly plane crash near Aktau has sparked an outpouring of support, with consuls and locals visiting the Consulate General of Azerbaijan to honor the victims.
The Consuls General of Turkey, Uzbekistan and Iran arrived at the Consulate General of Azerbaijan in Aktau to express their condolences and support after the tragic crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines Embraer 190. They signed a book of condolences and held a minute of silence in memory of the victims.
A tragic accident occurred yesterday. The plane flying from Baku to Grozny attempted to make an emergency landing, but this landing did not take place. As a result, a tragedy occurred, and many of our citizens died. As the Consulate General, after we received information about the incident, we began to fulfill our duties. I went to the scene, and our employees went to the hospital. Our employees were interested in the condition of our citizens. There were 67 people on the plane, and 38 of them died. Of these 38, 26 were Azerbaijani citizens. Of the 16 surviving citizens, 12 are in good condition.
Residents of Aktau, in a sign of grief over the plane crash, continue to bring flowers to the Consulate General of Azerbaijan in Kazakhstan.
These are all our fellow countrymen. Of course it hurts a lot. May they rest in peace.
We came to honor the memory of the deceased, and we wish the victims a speedy recovery. We work directly with the consulate, so we came to honor the memory and to fulfill our duty.
The tragic crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines Embraer 190 occurred on December 25th near Aktau, Kazakhstan. Out of 67 passengers, 38 people died and 29 survived.
Azerbaijani Airlines flight crash near Aktau has sparked intense speculation, with media reports hinting at a possible missile strike as the cause. The authorities investigate a range of theories, including a bird strike and a potential air defense missile hit, have emerged. Azerbaijani Airlines, along with authorities in Kazakhstan, Russia and Azerbaijan, is working to determine the exact cause of the crash.
The crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines flight near Aktau, Kazakhstan on Wednesday has sparked intense media coverage and speculation about the cause of the disaster. Al Jazeera stated that preliminary information suggested the plane requested to land at an alternative airport due to heavy fog in Grozny before the crash. TRT World reported that flight radar data showed the plane deviating from its planned route, crossing the Caspian Sea before circling the area where it ultimately crashed near Aktau. France 24 wrote that flight radar 24 data showed the plane making a figure 8 near Aktau with significant altitude fluctuations before crashing. The site also noted strong GPS jamming causing inaccurate flight data. Euronews referred to information from A News, international news channel based in Azerbaijan, citing that, according to preliminary investigation results, Russian surface-to-air missile caused the Azerbaijan Airlines plane crash in Akta on Wednesday. Media outlet added that the missile was fired from a Pantsir S air defense system. Reuters reported, citing A News, that preliminary results indicated the plane was struck by a Russian Pantsir S air defense system. The Guardian stated that Kazakhstan's main transport prosecutor, Timur Süleymanov, confirmed in a briefing in Astana that the plane's black box containing critical flight data for investigating the cause of the crash had been recovered. CNN mentioned that 29 survivors were pulled from the wreckage, including many in critical condition. It reported that while the cause of the plane's detour across the Caspian Sea remains unclear, the crash followed drone strikes in southern Russia, which had led to airport closures, including the nearest Russian airport. ABC News detailed how extensive rescue operations were underway, with Kazakhstan sending medical teams to assist the injured. BBC tells a human story of a woman heading for the holidays died in the crash, while a mother carrying medical tests for her sick child is still missing. A young woman seeking news of her father on the flight learned that her brother survived, but their father remains unaccounted for.
The BBC also cited on A News reporting about preliminary investigation that the plane was hit from a surface-to-air missile. As harrowing details emerge of the last moments of Azerbaijan Airlines Flight 8243, the flight crew who did their best to save the passengers until the last moment are being hailed as heroes, Euronews reports. The pilots displayed remarkable airmanship, according to experts, as they managed to fly the stricken plane across the Caspian Sea and crash landing just 3 kilometers short of the Aktau airport runway. Captain, co-pilot and purser lost their lives in the crash landing, while the other 2 flight attendants reportedly survived and were being treated in hospital. Japan Airlines said on Thursday its systems returned to normal, with same-day ticket sales resuming after a cyber attack delayed some domestic and international flights. The cyber attack began at 7:24 a.m., affecting internal and external systems, Japan Airlines said earlier. It temporarily shut down a router that was causing malfunctions and suspended ticket sales for flights departing on Thursday. No customer information was leaked, the company said, and it suffered no damage from computer viruses. ANA Holdings Japan's other major air carrier saw no signs of an attack on its systems, a spokesperson said. American Airlines grounded all flights for an hour this week, disrupting travel for thousands on Christmas Eve due to a technical glitch involving network hardware. A government-commissioned panel of experts has largely supported Japan's new energy policy for the next few years that calls for bolstering renewables up to half of electricity needs by 2040, while maximizing the use of nuclear power, as the country seeks to accommodate the growing power demand in the era of AI, while meeting decarbonization targets. The Industry Ministry of Japan presented the draft plan of the final review by the panel of 16 mostly pro-nuclear members from business, academia and civil groups. It calls for maximizing the use of nuclear energy, reversing a phase-out policy adopted after the meltdown crisis at the Fukushima Daiichi power plant in 2011 that led to extensive displacement of residents and lingering anti-nuclear sentiment. The plan is due to receive cabinet approval by March after a period of consultation and will then replace the current energy policy, which dates from 2021. The new proposal says nuclear energy should account for 20% of Japan's energy supply in 2040, up from 8.5% last year, while expanding renewables to 40–50% from 23% and reducing coal-fired power to 30–40% from nearly 70% from last year. Despite criticism and skepticism about its feasibility, Japan still sticks to its pursuit of developing advanced reactors and a struggling spent fuel reprocessing program to achieve a complete nuclear fuel cycle. South Korea's political turmoil deepened as the National Assembly voted to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo with 192 votes. The move follows his refusal to appoint constitutional court justices, despite protests from the ruling party.
South Korea's National Assembly voted to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo, with 192 out of 300 lawmakers backing the motion. The vote saw heated protests from the ruling People Power Party, which argued the vote was invalid and accused Parliament of tyranny. Han, who became acting president after President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment on December 14, faced criticism for refusing to appoint 3 constitutional court justices. The opposition Democratic Party, which controls the National Assembly, pushed for his removal after Han declined to formalize the appointments without bipartisan support. Despite disagreements over whether a simple majority of a 2/3 vote was required, Parliament Speaker Woo Won-shik confirmed that only a simple majority was needed. Under South Korean law, Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok will assume the acting presidency if Han is removed.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has made a significant statement regarding the nation's military capabilities. Putin confirmed that Russia is prepared to deploy more powerful medium-range weapons if deemed necessary. He specifically mentioned the possibility of using Oreshnik medium-range ballistic missile systems, which are part of Russia's growing strategic defense plans. Putin also revealed plans to station some of those systems in Belarus, further intensifying regional tensions. Earlier in discussions with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, Putin noted that this deployment could happen as early as the second half of 2025. Peru declared an environmental emergency after a major oil spill by Petroperú impacted northern coastal beaches. The spill has caused significant damage to wildlife and local communities.
Peru's government declared an environmental emergency after a crude oil spill from state-owned Petroperú affected beaches along the northern coast. The spill occurred on December 21 during pre-shipment operations at the Talara refinery. Minister of Environment Juan Carlos Castro announced the emergency for 7 beaches in the Talara and Lobitos area with a 90-day cleanup plan.
We declare an environmental emergency in the areas covering the geographical scope of 7 beaches in the provinces Talara and Lobitos. This is what we wanted to inform you about. The action taken with this emergency declaration, lasting for 90 working days, during which all affected areas by the hydrocarbon spill will need to be remedied and attended to.
The spill, which affected at least 10,000 square meters of sea and shoreline, has harmed local wildlife, including crabs and baby turtles, while fishermen report being unable to work due to contamination. We will have a lack of tourism in Lobitos. We will have a lack of tourism due to this contamination. We ask the responsible authorities to take action. Petroperú has yet to disclose the volume of oil spilled, but the government is focused on mitigating the damage and restoring the environment.
Syria's new rebel-led authorities say supporters of ousted President Bashar al-Assad have killed 14 Interior Ministry troops in an ambush in the west of the country. They say 10 other troops were wounded in the fighting on Tuesday near the Mediterranean port of Tartus, a stronghold of Assad's minority Alawite Muslim sect. The clashes with pro-Assad loyalists are the first direct challenge to the authority of Syria's de facto leader Ahmad al-Shara. Turkey's tea harvest has been reshaped by climate change, with farmers in the eastern Black Sea region now picking fresh tea into December. Warmer temperatures are extending the harvest season and redefining the country's agricultural calendar.
For the first time in Turkey's history, the tea harvest in the eastern Black Sea region has been extended into December. This shift is a direct result of rising temperatures and climate change. The Hurriyet Daily News reported that warmer than usual seasonal temperatures have prolonged the harvest period. Tea production is thriving in provinces of Rize, Trabzon, Artvin, and Giresun, where nearly 1 million families cultivate tea across 830,000 hectares of land. In Rize, known as Turkey's capital of tea, high-quality harvests are still underway, a trend attributed to the warm weather and the ongoing climate crisis. Rize accounts for 65.6% of Turkey's dry tea production. In previous years, the tea harvest would typically conclude by October. A 2023 report from Turkey's Food Engineers Chamber highlighted the country's position in the global tea industry. 7th in cultivation area, 5th in dry tea production, and 4th in per capita annual tea consumption. This unprecedented extension of the harvest season underscores the growing impact of climate change on agriculture. It presents both challenges and opportunities for Turkey's tea industry.
That's all we have for now. Thank you for joining us and keep watching A News.